Hey everybody, welcome back. My voice is feeling a lot better, but it's not perfect, so I'm going to be a little bit raspy today. I hope that's okay. But I ended up picking up a bottle that I was really interested in, but it took me a while to pull the trigger on it because it's pricey. So I figured, you know what? I'll do it for you, and then you'll know if it's worth your money or not. This is another Bardstown bottle, which you guys know I'm a Bardstown fan. But this is the collaborative series with Foursquare. They're a rum distillery. So this is a blend of straight whiskeys finished in Foursquare rum bottles. It comes in at 107 proof. So 90% of the juice in this bottle is MGP. It's 90% of it. 7-year. It's a 7-year rye. So it's 51% rye, 45% corn, 4% malted barley. So that's like really, really high corn in the mash, which is probably going to play well with the rum, I would imagine. A little bit sweeter. So it is the bare minimum amount of rye you can have in a whiskey to call it a rye. And then 10% of this is a 17-year Tennessee whiskey, which is 84% corn, 8% rye, 8% malted barley, which is really interesting. So they blend them and finish it in rum barrels. And I recently did the Sagamore rye, highlighted that on my rye video. And that was really fun. And that one was finished in rum casks as well. But I want to do a highlight this one specifically because I'm a big Bardstown fan as it is. Now, this is not their own juice, obviously. Like I said, this is sourced. It comes in at $170. That's pretty pricey. That's a pricey whiskey right there. We'll crack the seal on this. Dive into it together. See if it's any good. I love that sound. Here we go. A nice sort of caramely golden color on that. Oh man, the proof definitely hits you. It's not shy on the nose. I most definitely get like a Caribbean rum vibe off of the nose. But it's very much there to supplement and support the rye nose, because the rye nose is coming in nice too. It's a very sweet, subtle spice, a little bit of yellow fruit. I'm reminded of circus peanut candies and a nice daiquiri. It really does remind me of a daiquiri on the nose. Let's try it. That's interesting. The proof is good. That's a highlight of this. It's not like a 90 proof. Most of the finished ryes I have do tend to be in that low 90 range, but this being 107, I think carries a lot more of that flavor. It's not diluted out of it as much. And so I definitely get that daiquiri vibe I was getting on the nose. I get that up front on the palate. And then it transitions into this real caramely rye vibe. Like the high corn in the mash bill, that shines through for sure. This caramely flavor on the palate, mixed in with those yellow fruits, and just that subtle spice to it as well. But then the finish, even though it's just 10% of what's in here, the finish is all like a Tennessee charcoal kind of a vibe on the tail end of it. And that's how the finish really lingers on that charcoal filtration vibe that you get with a lot of these Tennessee whiskeys. Almost reminds me of like a bonfire at the end. So that kind of takes you on a nice little journey there. You start in the Caribbean and you end up in Tennessee. Man, that is such a complex drink. On second sip, absolutely. The rum vibe is up front. But it doesn't... One of the things that Sagamore's did really well was that the rum was the framing of it, right? The palate was a little different, but it starts with rum and it ends with rum. I'm not sure that I would have gone with the Tennessee whiskey. It is an interesting and unique finish, but I almost wish that it stayed more true to the rum and the rye. You know what I mean? Get the rum up front, get the rye on the palate, and then a little bit of that carameliness in there as well. And the proof kind of carries some of those flavors big and bold. But then that transition to the Tennessee whiskey finish seems a little bit out of place. It's not that it's bad, but it's a little out of place. But yeah, that's it. I love a lot about this. But if I had to nitpick, that'd be my one gripe. Is that it feels like it went to Tennessee at the end, and it didn't need to. It should have gone back to the Caribbean on the finish, or stuck with those rye notes, that high corn in the mash rye notes, because I like that a lot. The palate's fantastic. The very beginning of it, great rum notes. The middle of that palate, great sweet caramely rye flavors. But that transition to the Tennessee whiskey at the end just seems a little out of place. But that nose is delightful. It is quite good though. It's a very good whiskey. To have anything to complain about, I do kind of have to nitpick. So, going back to our scoring system. Let's give this thing a rating, yeah? I think for the Bardstown Collaborative Series with Foursquare, the rum finish, I think my score I'm going to have to give it is going to be an 8.6. Taking everything into account, I think that's an 8.6. That's fantastic. That is a fantastic whiskey. I'm going to enjoy every drop of that bottle. Guaranteed I will enjoy every drop of it. It's good. I think that, you know, the 9 and above I kind of reserve for things that are just phenomenal execution and innovative. And nothing about... I feel like if they had executed on the rum finish a little bit better, maybe get a little bit of a higher score. But the two things I think really holding it back are the fact that it goes to Tennessee at the end of the drink, and I don't think it needs to. It seems a little out of place, a little out of character for what they're going for, or at least the way they marketed it. I wish it would go back to the Caribbean, you know, frame that delicious buttery caramely rye, frame it in rum. You know what I'm saying? Because they get the daiquiri up front, caramely goodness in the middle with a little bit of that spiciness, the kick that you get from the rye. But then we go to Tennessee at the end. I'd rather it framed in rum. That might help it score higher. The other main drawback is the price tag of $170, and on the secondary you're looking at $200 plus. So the fact that it is a big investment to get a bottle of it, unless you really wanted to try it, because like I said, it's great, it's fantastic. But unless you really wanted to try it, I'm not sure that I would encourage someone to spend $170 plus on that bottle. I understand why it is priced that way, though. I mean, obviously the juice they had to source to make it, the finishing in those rum barrels, obviously, and the collaborative work that went in with Foursquare. So I understand it for sure. But was the final product worth that price tag? I think that depends on the consumer. I think I'd prefer to see this priced more in line with their Discovery Series. Around that $140 mark would be, I think, a little more realistic. And if it could be at a price point that competed with the Sagamore rum finish, rum cask finish, if it could compete with that price point a little bit better, I think maybe I could recommend it then. Because I do think I like it just a little bit more than that Sagamore. I'd have to line them up side by side and do another tasting of it. But just going off of memory, I think I do enjoy this a little more than that Sagamore rum finish. But at the price point, I'd almost feel like I would recommend the Sagamore a little bit more. Even though it's a lower proof, doesn't have that caramely sweetness in the middle. The fact that the Sagamore does that framing very well, I think I would recommend that more because of the price point. So, 8.6 for this bottle, for this baby. I like it a lot. Don't get me wrong. I really like it. 8.6 is a very good score. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to land on the collaborative Foursquare rum finish, Bardstown. Let me know if there's any other bottles floating around right now that you'd like me to cover. I know a lot of the seasonal stuff is quite interesting. People are interested in if things are worth their investment. So feel free to make recommendations in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Cheers. May you live richly and get better with age, my friends. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.